Hello everybody, my name is Reynard Anthony Rai, and me and my partner Kyle are going to be making a videos explaining the basic concepts of object-oriented programming in Java. In this video, we're going to be teaching the basic concept inheritance. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties from its parent class object. The aim is to provide the reusability of code so that a class has to write only the unique features and rest of the common properties and functionalities can be extended from another class. Inheritance has two categories, the superclass or the parent class, and the other one is the subclass or the child class. So we have here an example of implementing inheritance in Java. On the left side we have a dog class, and the right side we have a cat class. The dog class we have string color, string breed, and its methods bark and eat. In the cat class we have string color, int age, and its method meow and eat. So if we compare these two, they actually have a common thing, which is they're both animals. So now that they're both animals, they must have some similar properties. So in this case, dog has string color, and in the cat class also have string color. And in terms of methods, cat class has eat method, and the dog class as well has eat method. So now that we know that both of them are animals and both of them have similar properties, so in programming, having similar properties of each classes may be sometimes inefficient and confusing. So in order to fix this, we have to make another class which has both each of these classes properties. So in this case, dog and class are both animals, and since they're both animals, they must have similar properties. So we make an animal class. So in this animal class, we have string color and method eat, which both of these classes have. So now that we have an animal class which has properties from both of these classes, I can just simply remove the string color and eat method. But if I just remove these two, how can I get the properties of the animal class into the dog class or in the cat class? This is where the inheritance comes in. So I'll remove the string color and eat method, and I am left with string breed and bark method. So we have a new keyword here. Class dog extends animal. So this extends keyword actually just inherits the animal properties inside the dog class, and the dog class just extends to the animal class, just like this. Similarly, we can do this in the cat class. We remove the string color and the eat method, and we are left with int age and meow method. Class cat extends animal. So the properties of the animal class gets inherited inside the cat class, just like this. So with the help of these arrows, we can know that the cat class and the dog class simply just inherits from the animal class. This is also an example of a child and parent relationship. Just like when you inherit some properties from your father or your mother or your parents, similarly, just like the cat class and the dog class inherits from the animal class. Now this is the concept of inheritance. And now technically, this cat class and this dog class can be called the subclass or the child class. Similarly, just like the animal class from where we inherited the properties from, can be called the superclass or the parent class. And now we have the three types of inheritance: single inheritance, the multi-level inheritance, and the hierarchical inheritance. So in single inheritance, we have class B that inherits the properties from class A, just like the dog class. This is the animal class. So in terms of multi-level inheritance, we have class C that extends from class B, and this class B also extends from the class A. So technically, this class C has all the properties from both the class B and the class A. But in class B, the class B also only inherits the properties of class A only. And lastly, in a hierarchical inheritance, we have class B and C, and both of these classes actually inherit from one parent class, that is in class A. Just like the example from earlier, we have the dog class and the cat class, and we have the animal class. So why use inheritance? It is actually mainly used for reusability, and when we use inheritance, we actually remove all the redundant code, just like what we did in the example earlier. So for method overriding, the concept of method overriding is actually just reusing the methods of the parent class inside the child class, and we will be talking about this in the upcoming videos of ours. So stay tuned.
Okay guys, so now that we have understood something about inheritance, now let's try to make a program about inheritance. Now I have a sample code made right here in advance. I will explain to you how inheritance works in this video. Now I wanted class cars to serve as my main method because I wanted cars as an example. There are many examples you can use to show how inheritance works, but for now I will use class cars. Now the first thing I did was create a brand for my car. Now I use protected string brand to make an attribute for my car and give it a brand. As you can see here, I gave it a name. The next thing I did was create two methods for my program. Now I created public void start and public void stop. These two methods will be inherited by my subclass later on. Now after creating these two methods, I wanted a subclass which will inherit the methods that I have created. Now the next thing I did was create class model, and to indicate that it is a subclass, you need to put class model extends cars. Now the reason for this is to indicate that in the code that class model is an extension of cars, meaning it is a subclass, and it will also indicate that cars is the main class, the superclass, or the base class. Now after that, I wanted my subclass to have the name of the model. Now I created a private string model, and I created a name for my model. Now after all this, I wanted these two methods now to be inherited by my subclass right here. Now what I did is I created a main method under my subclass to finalize everything and to show you guys how inheritance works in this video. Now after creating my main method, I created a new object for my model subclass, which is model.myModel. Now how this works is you give your subclass a new name so that whenever it is called in the main method, it will immediately call what the subclass model given its new object name. Now after that, I wanted it to print out the brand and the model. So system out.println myModel.brand. myModel.brand means it called the attribute brand. So since brand is a protected string and class model is a subclass of class cars, which means it can call this attribute right here. So myModel.brand. What this line of code will do is it will print out the brand right here, which is Honda, and then plus myModel.model. Now myModel will call the attribute model, which is right here. So it will call model the Civic. So what this program will print out is Honda Civic. Now, how do you print out the two methods that your main class created? Now, what you do is you put my model dot start, which means you are calling the method start right here. So what this line of code will do is initialize this code right here, which is system.out.println vroom vroom. So it will indicate that you have inherited one method of your main class to your subclasses. The next thing you need to do is my model, which is the new name of your subclass right here. That stop, meaning you are calling on the stop method this time, not the start method. So if you call on the stop method, it will also print out the words engine stops. Now, when you run this code, you will see this right here, Honda Civic vroom vroom and engine stops.